really kind of hit the record button. It moved.
Ooh.
Oh, I should definitely have had a drink before I started hitting record. Oh my god! Look, yeah, fucking Jabba the Hutt today. Well, let's just rearrange that so it's not so offensive.
Me Jabba no bada. Me Jabba so goody.
Jabba no wanker. That's the line I always remember.
Of course.
Why not? So spoilers ahead, obviously, as there always are. We get five. I think it must be the same 5 people watch WandaVision reviews for us.
Hi Matt.
Hi Helen. I'm sure you're one of them. I don't know if you watch WandaVision, Helen. Doesn't strike me as necessarily your thing, but you know, I bet Ewan watches it.
But yeah, I'm going to consider the other 3 people are.
Pete might be one.
If you are one of our viewers, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and comment below. Do you see how I got that in there?
Yeah.
Flawless.
So anyway, yeah, the 5 people that watch our WandaVision videos, hi. Wow.
I'm going to say first of all.
You go first. I can't.
Well, why don't you regroup and.
Yeah, well, I can try and work out what I do want to say.
Yeah. Is this episode? It's weird. This episode doesn't actually move anything forward in the storyline at all, technically. But I actually think, in some respects, it's a really bold move for a show like this, because what it essentially does do is basically kind of fill in the blanks of the previous 3 episodes for me, and sets it in its position within the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. So from here, does it? What's the right word? Yeah. I mean, yes, that is. I think that's not where I was going. Though. I'm thinking like from here on in. Is this now kind of where the series is actually going to be? So if we of those first 3 that were the 50s, 60s, 70s sitcoms, is that now gone and we will dip in and out of their world, but actually this is now the series proper from a more rounded perspective? And was that like a very long lead-in tease?
What the hell is going on sort of thing?
And I say that because there are things in the closing title sequence that lead me to believe, I could be completely barking up a hell of a wrong tree here, that there are more styles to come. Because when you get the Marvel Comics, whatever, presents WandaVision, it goes to like a TV.
Marvel Studios,
that was them. And it's like it's a TV that flicks off. That is almost exactly like it was done once in, I think it's Twin Peaks. I think it's Fire Walk with Me, the film. The opening credits of Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me is over an old TV, a fuzzy TV. And it just really, every time I see it, I have to go back and watch the film to really go, oh, actually, it's nothing like I remember at all. But that's, every time I've seen it, that's what struck me. So I'm like, are they going to do the 80s now next week? Now they've kind of gone, all right, we've teased you enough, let's give you a bit of a bone. Now are we going to see the 80s? And when we see the 90s, will it be Twin Peaks? Because let's face it, Westview couldn't be more Twin Peaks if it tried. It's perfect for it.
You got me doubting it now, whether it was Westview or Westview. I think it was Westview.
I think it might be Westview, because the other guy was at Eastview, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Not Westerberg. What's Westerberg? Heathers. So
That's supposed to be Christopher.
Yeah, which is the lady in red, which is Wanda.
Ooh.
We don't write this either. It's literally seamless.
Are they going to throw us one hell of a curveball in the next episode?
It turns out it's all a song by Christopher.
Well, I think it was safe to say that literally no one
would have seen that coming. Yeah. So God, I really have got to do something about my tits. Brah, what do you think? Cross my arms. Cross my arms will work for now. Crossing my arms will do for now. Trying to like subtly take a drink. So yeah. Kat Dennings
was an absolute delight from the moment she appeared.
didn't get her coffee
At all.
Adore her, and have decided that actually, my friend Kelly Passaro and Kat Dennings never seen me in the same room at the same time. Just saying, Kel, are you secretly Kat Dennings?
Kat Dennings, are you secretly Kelly?
Yeah. God, does that mean I've been in panto with somebody from the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Possibly.
Oh, well, that's exciting. So yes, I mean, brilliant. Loved her. And of course, obviously, the main stars of the show had a week off this week because, apart from some very minor pieces, there wasn't anything. There wasn't anything that was new for them. And Vision. Now, this is the thing. We both had a different idea on this.
Yes.
Is she literally animating Vision's corpse? Was that his corpse walking through the door when she forgot to look at him through her filter for a second? Or your theory?
I don't remember what my theory was.
Did you just remember him that way?
Because I've got a longer theory here because of the fact that we've seen in the previous episodes as well that there are certain things that basically essentially trigger her, like Geraldine's mention of Ultron, which obviously would lead on to the death of.
But was that not triggered
Pietro.
because she'd mentioned Pietro first, or did it happen the other way around?
I genuinely can't remember.
No, me neither.
But my theory is that essentially, and this kind of links into the, is it Wanda, is it someone else that's manipulating Wanda? But that whatever the reason for it, that essentially part of this is how Wanda is dealing / not dealing with trauma in her life. One of those traumas is basically, obviously, the death of Vision at the end of Infinity War Part 1. So basically, has she kind of essentially created him out of nothing? So it's not his corpse, but it is basically something she's conjured up using her weird powers. And it's the Wanda, it's the Vision that she remembers being put into these kind of situations.
Yeah, so there's that. Nice to see. I mean, I know they touched on it in Spider-Man, but nice to see a more grounded look at the end of the blip.
Yes.
And what that was like to come back.
And that it wasn't... and that's one of the things I actually loved with, particularly with Monica. I mean, obviously it's a shame about Maria.
But how do you solve a problem like Maria?
Apparently, not that way, I'm tempted to say. But obviously, the whole setup with the films was basically, Tony, not wanting the past 5 years to be undone because obviously he'd got what he wanted, and it's quite a Tony thing. It's like thinking about himself. What this actually kind of showed is there's probably, yes, obviously it's great that all of these people are back. Brilliant. Big positive there, but there's still going to be an awful lot of people over that 5 years that would have wanted things to have gone back to where they were 5 years previously. So it actually kind of sort of portrays both ways, but it does it in a not overly gawky, sentimental, mushy kind of way. It just is.
So I'm using the cat to hide my body. I'm going to sit down then. I also think if you mention Tony and Maria, you should also probably just go into West Side Story, but I'm not going to do that right now.
We've already had Wicked so far this evening.
We have.
Unrelated conversation.
Completely unrelated conversation. So yeah, I mean, I think this is clearly the episode where the people who haven't had a Scooby what's going on
still don't,
but at least they probably now feel a little bit included.
Yes. That they can now kind of, you see where this fits into the bigger picture. You don't quite understand what
I don't get it.
Is
now, oh, I get it now. Oh, I wonder where it's going.
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking.
Hopefully,
the disappointment for me, it's minor because I still love it. Is from the moment this series was announced, I went, oh, I wonder if it's going to be Wanda creating her own reality, like what do you call it, House of M?
Yeah, I think it was House of M.
Yeah, I mean, I've not read that story, but I'm aware of it. But creating her own reality because she can't cope with the death of Vision. And I can remember, oh god, as long ago as when I was working at Capitol, so over a year ago, talking with the people who are into Marvel but only know it through the films, and them saying,
when this was first,
yeah, and saying, oh, what will that be? And I went, oh well, it'll probably be she creates her own reality because she doesn't cope with the death of Vision, blah 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 blah. So for it to kind of be revealed at the end of this episode like that's some enormous great twist, I'm just like, no, that's what I thought you were going to say all along. So I don't know if that's just because I do have, like, I'm not a massive Marvel Comics reader per se, but I have a sort of fairly reasonable knowledge of the last 30, 40 years of the big events in the comic books.
Well, you got Civil War upstairs.
Well, Civil War is is the one I've read, really. It's the only one I've read. I've read odds and sods here and there, but yeah, Civil War is my bag, baby. And I'd love to see it done properly. Now, they own it all. They could actually do it properly. They kind of spunk their wad of it by doing Captain America. But anyway, so yeah. So it was kind of like it was delivered like it was some big moment. And I was just like going, yeah, your point is... Oh, the episode's ended. Okay. So for me, that was a bit of a moment.
I will say as well that again, if it is that, we probably do also have to remember that, we do have slightly more knowledge of the source material, if you like, for this. So what might not be a huge surprise for us could absolutely be a complete mind-blowing surprise.
Yeah.
To people who, as Paul mentioned, kind of really only know this through the MCU, or perhaps not even that. It was, randomly tuned in to watch the show and just
I mean, my friend Mikey, who incidentally has a brilliant podcast channel. So if you're looking for very amusing podcasts that are just chats, and he, for a bloke who just sells advertising for a living, he's got some pretty impressive guests. I mean, he knows all the Welsh Rugby boys, that helps. And then it's all the people he knows through them. So if you're looking for a decent podcast, I'll do it when he's not sneezing over it. Give Mikey a plug. Cat Flap Chats. That's the one to look for. I find podcasts hard to listen to. I love Mikey's podcasts. They're class. So yeah, go find him out. All 5 of you, go find him.
Yes, and tell the people that you know, because I'm pretty sure between you know more than 5 other people.
Yeah.
And so on.
Let's see if we can get to 10 for next week.
Yes.
Woo!
Plus, there is also, and it's kind of something that I've sort of seen in the various, Facebook clickbaity articles where you click on them and, it's literally either nothing to do with what the subject matter is, or they're literally spinning gold like Dawn French in one of her sketches about how possibly they do this and possibly they do
Oh, okay.
that.
I didn't know you're spinning. I'm like, Dawn French has never done Rumpelstiltskin.
Now you know. It's spinning gold out of nothing, practically.
Yeah. Which is Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes. That it may not necessarily be Wanda that's pulling the strings.
Well, I think that would be the switcheroo, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So you get for the sort of casual viewer, uninitiated, you get the it was Wanda, but she's a good guy. For us, we go,
no, it was Wanda.
Yeah, it was Wanda.
We expected that.
That was clear. So for it then to turn out to be, I mean, knowing this film apparently ties into Doctor Strange 2, I've got no idea where that's at with production.
No.
But will the big cameo at the end be Cumberbatch?
Oh, of this, I'm thinking. Well, why would he have a cameo in his own movie?
No, of this.
I forget sometimes that Paul literally leaps around from thing to thing and assumes that we're kind of all merrily following him along and know exactly where he is.
Didn't that make sense? Made sense to me.
I refer you to my earlier observation. I mean, one of the things that I've seen, and again, what this is definitely, I think, doing, it's absolutely part of the groundwork laying for what we know the next, what is it, phase 4? I've lost track of what phase we're on. Phase 4 of the MCU is going to be, which is basically moving, they call it basically, it's going cosmic, which is actually a thing within the comics. But it's basically kind of, Earth is no longer the center of everything. It's not focused on necessarily sort of Earth's heroes and individuals. It's moving out to the cosmic stage, to the universe at large. And we've already obviously had hints of that with things like Guardians of the Galaxy, and now obviously Captain Marvel, where they've been bringing in like alien races like the Kree and the Skrull and so on and so forth. But given that an awful lot of the next wave of movies are going to be things like the Eternals, who are very much cosmic players, there's a whole bunch of other stuff down the line. The next rumoured big bad, I think, is absolutely someone who operates on a cosmic scale. You can see with WandaVision, because they're bringing in Sword. Now, in the comics, Sword is essentially the cosmic equivalent of S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. is very much like your domestic response unit, so it focuses on stuff going on Earth. Sword basically looks out to what's going on in the stars and to combat extraterrestrial threats, essentially. And this is all very much kind of building, sort of, is like putting those little blocks in place for me, which one I love, and I think it's a really smart thing that the MCU as a whole is doing by actually now using the TV sort of series to kind of world build, so they don't necessarily have to do it in the movies. Which I'll be interested to see how much of that pays off when we actually do start getting some of those movies come through. But it's possible that there's a lot of like sort of almost supernatural threats that are being suggested as maybe it's a cosmic being that's pulling Wanda's strings. I am now actually also genuinely curious as to see whether this is a one-off series or whether they will continue it, because it does seem to be set up very much to be like its own self-contained thing. So I'm actually kind of curious as to what the conclusion's going to be.
Well, we know from the trailer and from the end sequence that classic Wanda and Vision costumes are appearing at some point. So what context they're going to have, because they don't have a place in the MCU,
no,
and they don't have a place in any sitcom. So I mean, they'll it'll be interesting and it'll be done well. I have absolutely no doubt. But it'll be just interesting to sort of see how's that going to play in, because that's obviously her imagining them in costumes for whatever reason. So it's almost like they've answered in this every question you had so far, but it just sets you off with a whole load of new ones.
Yeah.
Which is fairly standard mid-season. Did we ever find out how many episodes this is?
No.
Should we do that when? Because we use your phone.
We could, or we could just wait for Matt to tell us.
Matt will tell us. I'll wait.
We love you, Matt.
I'll wait for that WhatsApp tomorrow morning,
or later tonight, depending on when he watches it.
Yeah, possibly. So still loving it.
And I would also just like to say it was, and again, this I think is why I love this show so much, and why I'm really looking forward to some of the other shows, is the fact that unlike with the previous sort of forays in TV like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and this, where it's very much TV and film are separate and never the twain shall meet.
Hey, Agent Coulson, the whole thing happened on the other side of the world today, did it?
Yes. Is to actually see, and I can't remember the character's name, but the FBI agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Woo.
Yes. And he's learned magic. Yay!
I didn't recognise him at all. I'm glad you pointed him out. Obviously, I recognise Kat Dennings. Didn't recognise him at all. Even though we both think we know the boss of Sword.
Yes.
Don't we?
Tyler Thingy Bob.
And I think I just know him because he looks a bit like Hugh Bonneville.
I now think I know him because he looks a bit like, and this is really bad because I can only sort of kind of mention him from like the bit part roles I've seen him in, which is Modern Family. He was the gay fishing tackle shop owner that...
I know the episode you mean.
Yeah.
Cannot remember what the guy looked like. Don't think it was him though.
And he was also in a few episodes of...
Oh, you're thinking... no, I know who you're thinking of. I know who...
Yes, who you've actually... Yes.
I know who you're thinking of.
Yes, because someone...
What?
Has Googled him and come across some pictures that he quite liked of said person.
You're thinking of the one. You know, he's the one.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Yes. Yes.
He was in Star Trek. There's one over there. He was in Star Trek Voyager. One you're thinking of.
Was he?
He was the number one on the Equinox. What's happened to your fan?
I don't have a fan. I'm just pretending.
Yeah, obviously. That's not the line.
I don't care. I don't know what the line is. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of sketches like you do because I haven't watched them 15 billion times.
Well, then you have to just watch them some more, aren't you? I can do the opening. I can't do the closing. Yeah, I need to work on. I'll work on
really
that.
Do.